Hi everyone. I'd like to take some time right now to say how proud I am of all of you from this year. This was a very challenging year right from the beginning. It's never easy to play for a new coach, and you guys got the news halfway through the school year. I'm just so grateful that you all gave me a chance, and I'm so proud of everything you guys accomplished in our short time that we had together. I really wish it could have been longer. Watching you all grow as a team was the highlight of my school year. It really was. Every time you stepped on the court, you guys got better and better and better. It was just amazing to see. There's no doubt in my mind that you all would have won league and CIF. You just were so phenomenal. It was fantastic. I'm so sad that it got cut short. I know it's not actually the same as winning, and I'd give anything to get that time back for you guys. But as far as I'm concerned, you guys were league champs, and I couldn't be prouder of you. So with that being said, here is your 2020 varsity team. First up is Ben Kim. Ben 10. Oh, Ben. Ben is just such a positive, great teammate. Probably one of the hardest workers you'll ever meet, and he's not only one of the hardest workers, but he does it with a smile. He genuinely wants to be there. He's always looking to get better. He always puts his teammates first. He's just a great human being. He's a great student. He's a great friend. He's a great athlete. You just genuinely couldn't meet a nicer or better guy. And I'm so appreciative to have had you on this team this year, Ben. I got to coach you 2 years ago on my first JV team, and I'm so happy that I had you this year as a senior. Ben also is going to receive the Scholar Athlete Award. Congratulations, Ben. It's a very high honor. It means that not only is he a great athlete, but he is a great student, and he was able to maintain a high GPA throughout the season. Congrats, Ben. Our next senior up is Robert Bissell. Rob is phenomenal. Rob is a great teammate and a hard worker, but he's also a phenomenal leader. He's not one of those guys that's very vocal. He actually has this ability to be a quiet leader. He leads by example, and he's someone you can always rely on, is always doing the right thing and is always doing it with a smile on his face. One of the best things about Rob is that he always has a smile and a fist bump for you. That all the coaches have commented on that, and they love that about him. Rob, you did a phenomenal job this year. I'm so happy that you were on the team. And you were another one of my players that I got to have more than 1 year, so double bonus for me. Rob also got the Scholar Athlete Award. Congrats, Rob. Our next senior up is Jack Bissell. Jack was one of our co-captains this year. Jack played varsity for all 4 years. I believe he has the distinction of being the only player for playing all 4 years. Congratulations, Jack. Jack's a phenomenally talented volleyball player. He is genuinely, I think, the nicest person you will ever meet. He is another one of those guys that is just a phenomenal example of what younger athletes should strive to be. He's a hard worker. He leads by example, but never, showy, never trying to tell other people what to do. Just kind of a quiet leader, just working hard and encouraging people to do the same. He was a phenomenally amazing positive influence on the court and off the court. He was always a very loud presence on the bench if he was ever on the bench. He spent most of his time on the court, but he was also a very positive influence on the court as well, always picking up his teammates whenever things got tough. Not only that, Jack is also receiving the Scholar Athlete Award. Congrats, Jack. Oh, and Jack was also the recipient of our Terry Conley Award this year. I know that he already received his award and got his recognition, but I want to make sure everybody else understands that he received the Terry Conley Award, which is a very high honor. It's a distinction of someone with great quality and great character. someone who works hard and leads by example and always puts others first. So congratulations again, Jack, on receiving the Terry Conley Award. I wish I could have given it to you in person like I should have. Okay. Our next senior is Michael Bissell. Mike is a great guy. Mike has one of the best sense of humor, but he's very quiet about it, so you don't know it unless you get to know him. Mike always has a smile on his face, which I love. And he's just he was a huge asset to this team. He was one of the hardest workers. He's also a player that has the distinction of being someone that not only can his teammates rely on, but the coaches can rely on, which is a really great quality to have. As a coach, you stress a lot about what's going on the court, and it's nice to be able to have players where you know that they are almost like a second coach on the court. They're going to lead by example. They're going to pick up their teammates, encourage them, and they're going to get the job done. And Mike is one of those players. They're hard to come by, and Mike is one of the few. He's just a natural volleyball player, and I can't say enough good things about him. He was a phenomenal asset to our team this year. Oh, and additionally, Mike also had the Scholar Athlete Award this year. Our next senior is Jack Raymond. Jack's just great. I like to say Jack flies. There's not anything that Jack can't get to on the court. It's amazing. You don't think he's going to get the ball, and he does. He is just this quiet, positive force on our team. He's got a little bit of a sense of humor, which I love. You don't think it's going to come out, but every now and then he'll just, throw something out there, which is just a fantastic characteristic to have as well. He's an amazing athlete. He has the best attitude you'll ever see. He never seems to have a bad day. Always has a smile on his face, and he's always able to pick his teammates up in any situation. Even if it's a tough game, he's able to say, I don't know what he says out there, but he'll say something, and then everyone will be smiling. He's just a great person and a great athlete, and I'm very happy to have had him on our team this year. Jack also received the Scholar Athlete Award this year. Our next senior up is Bryce Luke. Bryce has probably the most heart and passion for the game of anybody I've ever coached. He is a phenomenal athlete. He played both football and volleyball on varsity level for multiple years. And he just is constantly trying to improve himself and encourage his teammates. And that's just this great characteristic to have. He's very self-motivated and driven and wants to be the best that he can be. And it's just phenomenal. He was a huge presence for us at the net this year in the middle, getting a lot of big blocks and a lot of kills on offense. And he's also just a huge personality and has the ability to just bring that out in everyone else and get everyone hyped. And I love that about him. So Bryce Luke was our next senior. Our next senior up is Oliver Penn. Oliver was new to the program this year. He is an amazing guy. Oliver is probably one of the hardest workers, and always smiling and always wanting to learn and get better. What I love best about Oliver in our short time that we had together was how willing he was to just go with it. He's a phenomenal athlete. I think he can touch 12 feet, something ridiculously high. If you've never seen him jump, go look up some footage of him jumping on our Instagram. He's phenomenal. But not only that, he was just willing to go with it. I told him at the beginning, I'm just going to throw you in there and say, do it. And he was like, okay, I'll do it. And he did it well. He picked up the sport so easily. And knowing that he hadn't played volleyball really consistently up until that point, that's just amazing. I know that he's going on to play basketball in college, and I would really encourage him, if it's in his means, to maybe consider pursuing volleyball as well. I think he has an amazing future ahead of him, whatever sport that he picks. Oliver Penn. Our next senior is Juho Choi. I love Juho. Juho is just the greatest teammate. He just genuinely loves being a part of the program and being part of the team and being out there and playing. And that's just great. Some players are really good at their sport and that's why they enjoy it. And it's like, I'm there because I'm good. Some players genuinely just want to be there because they love the camaraderie. And Juho is a good combination of both of those things. He's a phenomenal athlete, works hard every day, but he also just really genuinely loves being there. And I could see it every day at practice and in all our games. He's a phenomenal teammate and he's a phenomenal athlete. He also received the Scholar Athlete Award. Congrats, Juho. Our final senior is Jason Parento. I know I've said this a lot, but Jason is, I think, the hardest working player I've ever coached. He just loves volleyball. You can just see it. He's one of those guys that he just has to have a volleyball in his hands at all times. There's never just a moment where he just can, just stop. If we would be doing a drill and we'd have a water break, Jason would be the first one back and he'd be there with the ball in his hand, ready to do what are we going to do next? If there's downtime at tournaments, he's working on swinging, working on passing, working on setting. He just has such a love for the game and you can see it when he plays and everything he does. Jason is also insanely versatile. I had the pleasure of coaching him for multiple years, and I know that he played club as well, and he's played multiple positions. He can do it all, which is just such a blessing because it means that he just has all of these options and this bright future ahead of him in terms of playing. I would really love to see what Jason has next, what's coming up next for him in terms of the sport. I would really hope that he pursues it in the coming years. Okay. Moving on to our juniors. Our first junior up is Cameron Grammatica. I think that next to maybe Bryce and Jason, Cameron probably cares the most out of anyone. You can just see it. You can see it on his face. You can see that he's always critiquing. He's always striving to get better, and not in a bad way. He just wants to be the best, and it's paid off for him. He is a phenomenal force up at the net. He's a major asset to our team. One of our top scorers. One of those guys that when he walks in the gym, the other team takes notice. They're like, "Ooh, we better watch out for him." He's an amazing blocker. He stepped up his game this year and became one of our biggest servers on the court, getting us many, many, many points with his killer topspin serve at the service line. And I just look forward to big things from him. He's a junior this year. He was another one of our co-captains. And I'm excited to see what he has for us in the coming years. Cameron Grammatica. Our next junior is Luke Bissell. Luke has this quiet competitiveness in him, which I love. He's not super vocal when he's out there. If he is talking, I'm not hearing it. He's very quiet about it. But he just is competitive, and I love that because he doesn't back down, which is a great characteristic to have. He brings a positive vibe to our court when he's out there. When he's on, he just sort of picks everyone up. You can see it. He's just got this positiveness to himself. He was one of our middle blockers this year, and he was a massive presence up at the net. Not many people could get things by him. In attacks, he has the distinction of being able to run a true one, which is really hard to do. As a middle, you don't get rewarded as much as the bigger outside hitters, but this guy, man, he could hit. He's up on time and was just crushing it out of serve receive constantly. And I'm so excited to see what we have for him in the future. Luke also received the Scholar Athlete Award. Congrats, Luke. Our next junior is Robert Hammer. Rob is a hard worker. He was steadily improving all throughout the year. Rob did not get as much playing time as I think he would have liked this year, but I saw him out there working hard and steadily getting better. And what I love best is that he always had the best attitude. He didn't get in the court as much as he would have liked, but he was never negative about it. He was always cheering on his teammates, always the first one out there to get high fives and fist bumps. And he just has a genuine love for the game and his teammates. And he is going to be a phenomenal force for the team next year. Rob also received the Scholar Athlete Award. Congrats, Rob. Our next junior is Ryan Peterson, one of our setters. Ryan played the position of setter, which is one of the harder positions to play on the court, and he dominates at it. He's a quiet player. He's not real vocal, but he has a very good understanding of how the game works. So even though he's not out there being the loudest, he's doing what he needs to do to get the job done. He knows how to run an amazing, successful offense and was key in a lot of our wins. He's an amazing talent. He's insanely athletic, and he's a good, positive, calming force on our court. When it gets a little bit crazy out there, it's good to have some players that are calm and can bring that tenseness back down. And Ryan is one of those players, and I appreciate having him out there, and I'm excited to see him on the court next year as well. Ryan. Our next junior is Luke Engel. Luke is another one of our juniors who's a hard worker and improved all throughout the year, even though he didn't get as much playing time as he would have liked. But he was key for us when he did come in. He would go in and play some defense for us when we needed him. And he was very vocal and loud and positive on the sidelines, which we very much appreciate. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do for us next year out on the court. He's been working hard all year and getting steadily better. So I know he didn't get much of a chance to show it this year, but he's done phenomenal things at practice, and it's going to pay off on the court next year. Luke also was one of our Scholar athletes. Congrats, Luke. Our final junior is Landon Kawaguchi. Landon was constantly working all year. He's one of those guys that came up to me during the off season and was like, what do I have to do? I want to be on varsity this year. What can I do to be on there? I want to be a contributor to the team. And he was. He's been working really hard at practice. He stepped up a few times to step in and serve for us and play a couple times. Again, we had a large team this year, so he didn't get as much playing time this year as he would have liked. But let me tell you, he's phenomenal, and he's going to do major, major things for us on the court next year. Yep. Landon also received the Scholar Athlete Award this year. Congrats, Landon. Our final player is our one and only sophomore. It's Mike Cecilio. Mike was in a tough spot this year. He was one of 3 setters on our team, which basically means he was the next man up kind of a position. It's hard to be in that position. You know, everyone wants to be out there on the court and step in and play and get, that playing time and prove themselves. Mike was able to carry this off and come in really clutch for us in a lot of moments, right? He stepped in when we needed him. He got his job done. He did it with confidence. He did it well. And he made some really key plays for us, including the final set of the season to win our final match in the Orangewood Academy tournament. Mike, I am so excited to see what you can do the next coming years. He's a phenomenal setter, and he also received the Scholar Athlete Award. Congrats, Mike. Okay. That was our varsity team for the 2020 year. To my seniors, I want to say I'm so proud of you and the young men that you've become. Your time at El Dorado, I know, is ending, but you have the rest of your lives now. It's just beginning. There's so many things out there in store for you. I've no doubt you're going to do amazing things. I'm so proud of you, and I wish you the world. To my underclassmen, this isn't it. This isn't the end. I know our time got cut short, and I know we're going to crush it next year. So be ready. I want you to know I love all of you, and I want to say thank you for such an amazing season. It really was awesome. Thanks, guys.